No, I actually like this background. Actually like it because I kinda feel this frame without looking into the camera. I already know where I stand. I believe so. um, yeah, this is a morning talk, and I kinda made a lot of videos for the last year. I'm really trying to make videos for quite a long time, and I didn't upload any of them on YouTube because I had so many changes in my head for over last year, and at some point I thought maybe I will share with people my thoughts, and then my thoughts will change, or I will figure out that some of my thoughts were wrong, or whatever. But yeah, it's really sounds silly a bit from the side. I don't know. Maybe you have um, the same fear, I would say, or whatever you call it, and but maybe not. At the end of the day, I just realized that first of all, it's a beautiful part that my thoughts might change. So and because I was actually trying to take too much responsibilities because it's not easy to make video and upload them on YouTube if you ever tried. Yeah, if you had yeah, if you ever tried because maybe some of you already tried and everything is good with that and like you're absolutely satisfied. It's amazing. But for me it's not easy. Really. And I understand it the same for everybody, I believe so. Um Nevertheless, I won't you know, I would say I have kind of fulfilling life. It's pretty much fulfilling, but not without the reason, and it wasn't always like that. Um, yeah, really, it was for quite a long time. It was absolutely awful. I I see no future, no light at the end of the tunnel, nothing like that. And in general, it applies to life. Life generally sucks, and nothing you can do with that. But at the same time, you can do something you find attractive for your inner character and something what you find decent, I would say, for your soul to be attended to. I believe so. Yeah, and there are two really many things I can mention here, and it seems to be that uh, trendy to make all these videos about fulfilling life, success, and so on. But I'm not talking about money or anything else. It all comes to you when you just feel yourself okay with your duties, I would say. I mean, when you clearly understand who you are and what kind of person you represent by your inner character, and it's it's enough. It's enough for you to feel yourself happy, because like imagine a guy in from like children from a kindergarten. You give him $1 billion, what he gonna do with that? So honestly, yeah, it's not a case. Yeah, it's kind of trendy, mainstream, and so on. But at the same time, I really like to watch other young guys talking about even about money. I really interested about everybody who is talking, giving, I would say, sharing their path and their angle of view on the life picture in general, and how it was for their life, how like a guy started like was dying from scrolling and vaping, and then he just started, pushing himself, and then he built like $1 billion business in 1 year. I really like to watch it. I don't know, because I saw like stories about success of other people, and like, because probably I tend to think probably if there's something in their stories I can apply to myself. Spoiler, at the end of the day, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, because I mean, there are different types of, success stories. The one where people giving you advices, some people giving you real actions which you might take to, you know, I don't know, complete something. But for me, it all sucks. I just believe it sucks. And I mean, no, it's cool if anybody doing it, but for me, it doesn't work. Yeah, and I don't think you're really happy when you have a lot of money. It does, like, everybody knows that. You probably won't be happy without money, but with money, it still doesn't mean you're happy. Um, while I'm talking about it, I don't want even to touch these topics really, about all of this stuff. But what I really want to talk about is that I want to share with you just my view on how to you actually develop your inner character and how you actually interact with outer world, because it's not obvious for, like, not everybody has a life mentor, I would say, in their lives. I mean, for some people it like might be older brother, for some people it's just a father, for some people it's just a teacher, and probably it's somebody who's changing during your life while you're becoming stronger, and while you're growing, just people changes and you have different mentors during your life. But not everybody has those mentors, because we're just living in a huge world. You can find anything possible, and just so you get me. um Coming back, I want to say that I had no mentor in my life. I really had nobody who just took me and like explained me how basic life works. Really, from I understood it on the level like how it should look like, how to, generally speaking, it's how to explain to you. Those are different types of interaction with society, I would say. The one is official side, is your job, is your whatever it is. It's okay. Everything is so obvious here. You just go and do it. But how to interact with yourself to make your living in society comfortable and interesting and engaging and so on. So it's a good question, because, yeah, as I said, you might have billion of dollars, but if you haven't developed your inner character, which you might probably done while you was making this money, and I mean maybe not, who knows. And this question with inner character, figuring out who you are exactly, is so important for person, for understanding, and just to know this. And of course, you're not just, sitting in your room and figuring out who you are. Of course, you figuring out it by going out and doing things and trying different stuff in life. Um, yes, of course. And um, yeah, I had no mentor. Nobody explained to me how, like, bro, you just don't need to be worried that much. You can just do your stuff. You can just do your stuff. Forget about everything in this world, about all people who saying whatever you want or whatever they want, and just do your stuff. Do your stuff, and it would be enough for sure. Um, yeah, because there's so many things which distracting you from your inner character, being with your inner character. Um, there are really too much things. I mean, the whole society and the whole different type groups of society, you're just trying to be good for everybody. And it will not work like that. Never, never. You won't be good for every group of society. I mean, if you're working, if you have a good job, let's say, of course, there will, like, you will find a lot of people who is envy at you or to you. I'm not natively speaking English. So, yes, anybody can just throw a shit into you. It's okay. And of course you need to understand that you want to sacrifice. Of course, I have my society, university, employees, and so on, but I'm still making videos. Whatever. Like, anyways, you need to sacrifice with other people thoughts. And if you have been grown as a good person, you probably haven't been, nobody actually probably explained to you that you not necessarily need to be good for yourself. Um, I believe you're smart and you get my point. Yeah. So, sometimes you need to sacrifice with being a good guy. Honestly, you're not an angel. You're just a person. You're a human living on the planet. You have your own interests, and you can't be ideal at everything. Of course, it's cool when you actually um, when you trying to be at least pushing yourself. It's amazing. It's the main, I believe, challenge, the most interest challenges in your life. Pushing yourself to probably do something you might not like to do, or just to develop yourself. Of course, it's so obvious. We know it from, self-developing video. But there's still so many points which probably stopping you because you just feared that somebody would say something bad about yourself or whatever. You prefer just to stay quiet on the side and do your stuff and just be good at think narrow, yeah, at narrow think which you're doing. And yeah, it seems to be too obvious, but nobody can actually forget really about all these society rules and do something they want to develop their inner character, to meet their inner character, and so on. Um, I don't have any ready to use recipe. As I said, I really hate guys who's giving like advices on the right and left. People are not the same. It's not a science where you can just give a formula and it will work. It's not something that exactly defined as math or whatever. It's life. You It's not that easy. Otherwise everybody would be, otherwise it wouldn't be an earth. It would be, I don't know, a heaven, which is not. Yeah. Those things are pretty obvious, but still, so many things in our society pushing yourself to think that you have to be ideal. You have to be ideal at your, I don't know, um, everywhere. And it really feels like that. And I don't want to give you a ready recipe. I want to reveal those things. And probably in that case, it would be easier for you to understand that you're not alone who thinks like this. For me, it works the most when I understand that somebody thinks the same way as me, have the same thoughts as me, have the same point of view on something which I thought I was absolutely alone. I just it just helps a lot, and I believe if that's something that you hesitate to say or think of, let me give it to you. At the same time, everybody is saying that, yeah, don't hesitate, do your stuff, like just do your stuff, forget about everybody and everybody's opinion. But it's not just, everybody's opinion. It's not just your friends and and other stuff. It's something always a bit higher than that. It's always something like, as I said, I don't know, employees, university, whatever. Like it's other groups which standing higher than you, and you cannot just jump over them and forget that you need to follow those things as a prior whatever, like understanding main focus, rather than making yourself live the life you want to live. Because if it seems so obvious, if everybody would live and do whatever they want to do, we would then live in hell probably. Yeah, but yeah, so that's why I'm saying there are no ready recipes. It is only it is only the way you need to find your inner character, and if you understand it, it's already enough. Because I will give you an example. What works for me? Uh, what works for me? I might just disappear. It's also one more trend, which is everybody saying like disappear for a year and become a superhero. Yes, it really works. It sounds so stupid. It sounds so silly, but it really works and it's really amazing. I've done it and just went to do my stuff, my shit the way I want, forgetting about everybody, deleting all like social media and contacts with like old friends or whoever from everywhere. And it wasn't about erasing your social contacts, but it more for like erasing mm, your inner connection to the outer world, I would say. Yeah, and that gave to me so much, really so much. I mean, I became pretty confident about my career, about my knowledge, about myself, about my freedom, also freedom to be free in general in social media space. um and still it was hard. For last year I was filming a lot of videos, and it was like, oh, maybe not, maybe I don't need to like let it go, upload it. It's not good yet, it's not good yet. You know what, the moment I realized that I just have a fear, and the reason I want to upload something is just because I exactly have the same fear. It's something is not ideal and something. Fuck it, just go and do it. Whoever will see it, whoever knows me or don't know, I'm developing my inner character, and better not to stop me doing it. Yeah, and it's so cool. I think that happiness about life is only about finding yourself as who you're supposed to be when you have been born. You know, you might know about yourself something that you like doing sports or science or some job or developing different, I don't know, maybe playing computer games, and you know yourself on the level of hobbies. But there might be there also a side of you where you can do any hobby in the world, even one which you hate the most. But if you know who is your inner character and who you are, you will still find the way enjoy even a thing which you absolutely hate to do itself. I hope you get me. Yeah, it's like, if it's not only to be to have a strong inner character or personality, it's strong is so silly word. Sorry, so silly word, because um you might be naively strong. I mean, really, you can't be just strong without the reason. You can be confident, but it's so relatively, it's so relative. I don't know how. It's so relative, probably, because you might be pretty confident about the fact you waking up and going for a walk in the park, right? But suddenly something changed. And what? Okay, you're not confident anymore about your walk. But if you're too confident, you won't be flexible. You can't change your mind. Which is also not true. You can be confident and change your mind when it's needed. The thing I'm trying to say that you need to always, keep your mind clear about the reality. Really, yeah, kind of like that. Because I see so many people just like confident about everything and having a strong inner character, but there too many things can just broke your confidence. I mean, you can be confident, but don't be arrogant. That's what I'm trying to say. Probably it wasn't what I was talking about really, but if you're too confident about something, you coming to somebody and actually, let's say you have, like, I mean, let's take science. You can't be confident there. You can't be confident there because anything can broke your hypothesis. Except of the case if you have an actual proof, probably. But even this proof should be reviewed by another professors to, like, and it's still to live for quite long time, for 50 years if it's proof in some math, for instance, and then only you can be sure about it. Yeah. And when we're talking about confidence, and it doesn't appear without the reason, because a lot of people are just saying on YouTube that, hey guy, you have to be just confident. Bro, what's going on with you? What's your problem? Just be confident. It doesn't work like that. Uh, in order to be confident, you need to do confident stuff. First of all, you need to, pushing yourself somehow at different spheres of your life. You need to. It's confidence. It's like a reward for you doing whatever you want. You understand? It's not just. It's not just a thing which other people say. Just be confident. Like, whatever. If you want me to be really confident, I'm like, let me follow my way, and probably maybe someday I will be confident. Yes. Yeah. So developing and finding your inner character is just something about trying to do stuff which you don't like to do, and find the right place in your thoughts which you can follow and stay in this place, in your thoughts, in your mind, in your inner position, to outer world, to complete even a task which you don't want to do, and it develops yourself a lot. Yeah, because a lot of young guys, especially me, just by natural instincts, you find yourself being lazy, which is absolutely okay. Everybody has it. If you're saying that you never be have, fuck, if you're saying that you never been lazy, I don't believe you. Stop bullshitting me. Yeah, kind of like that. Doing whatever you don't want to do and finding the right approach to do these things just because you have your inner position and inner philosophy, which you also find while you're completing those tasks, is so important. Look, I'm not saying I'm like God and I know everything. Absolutely no. Um, absolutely no. But the point is, whenever whenever you're coming to doing whatever you considering is unrealistic to achieve, and whenever you finding yourself to do something what you need to do, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of develop, it's kind of give you the whole, the possibility to do everything, everything what comes to you, possibility to absolutely control yourself, is the greatest universal skill you might ever find. It's it's not just because a lot of, I got distracted by like person was passing nearly, and uh so whenever a lot of young guys, a lot of young guys, just when some, some duties appears and some responsibilities appears, sometimes you might think, oh no, God, why I should do it, oh shit. But every time you break it by your leg like this, every time when you say, okay, it's so awful and so disgusting that I'm going to make my hands dirty as much as possible, but just doing it, and I will do it to extent I will do it with love, with like with joy, and it's so cool stuff to do with yourself. I don't know. Yes, of course it's so uncomfortable, and of course it's so. It might sound silly, but believe me or not, it gives you 100 times boost, and it's so cool, really. Yeah, and you might hesitate to do different stuff in your life. For instance, running a business or whatever it is, you might consider just silly and stupid and like, what the point for me running a business? But it all comes from who you are as your inner character. I mean, um, this, younger rush to be a billionaire at your 22 years old is absolutely pointless. It just make no sense because everything, all great stuff, all great stuff, which have been completed, ever have been completed because it was completed by small steps for a quite long time. It's nothing cool about becoming a billionaire in one day. It's nothing cool about it. It's zero inner character developing. What develops you is going dirty way that nobody wants to go, with the stupid stuff where everybody would give up because there's no point of doing it but somehow you find it attractive to do that only because of that, because of the fact it is sounds silly and hard for majority of people to complete. Yeah, I don't know how to explain to you. There are a lot of different examples of like um, now everybody wants to be a blogger and I don't know whoever like media person, and nobody wants to actually study in the university, which is nothing cool about becoming like a media person, becoming a popular. It's just like your it says zero about your inner character. It's whoever can, like, we have a lot of instances, but for instance, complete a university seems to be not cool. Like everybody, like young girls telling young guys, oh man, you're not cool, you just a worm, a bookworm. Oh man, you're not cool. It sometimes happens, and everybody want to, to be as cool as possible, but nobody wants to sit and do a real stuff, which is just a real stuff, a cold reality, the stuff which is needed for cold reality itself and for society. For instance, as like, I don't know, electrician or um, any profession in this world, any job. Yeah, and so many people would just give up on some basic idea of completing just a university in a good way and then go to basic job, and that's became so mainstream to not do that stuff that it's becoming a cool again to complete it. I'm telling you. Because of course nobody knows whatever will work for you and whoever you are, and like maybe you have some preferences, and of course you might like be doing whatever you want in your life. I'm just saying my point of view, and as I found out that it's cool to complete those things that nobody expects you to do, really. And i just think I just think it's cool. So yes, and developing your inner character is kind of, yeah, you need to forget about everybody's opinion and do whatever you consider as cool and hard and decent enough for pay attention to it. Yeah, I think there are no too many things you really consider as worth doing it, because for myself it was doing math and sports. That is nothing else. Recently I figure out that I can't live without, making some videos and stuff, because it's just dumb to not film anything on YouTube while you have possibility to do it, and whoever will see it. And yeah, and all of these videos about, with exact purpose and script, those are cool. And I find out that it's not my style. I just want to, go free talking and just sharing my thoughts. And better not even think about that after I filmed any video, not to rewatch and sitting if it, and thinking if it's worth it to upload it, because I get into this trap 300 times, and if you're watching it on YouTube, I wasn't trapped myself again, which is cool. And yeah, don't trap yourself, because even me, I honestly have done a lot of cool stuff for like last 2 years, but there's still like parts of my life which I'm struggling with a lot. And it's kind of steps when you know, you start your like in the character journey, and you like at some point you start to believe yourself, yes, I can do this and that, and even those like hard things and stuff. And at some point you like, okay, I can now, I need to keep it going, to keep like doing well and stuff. And you figuring out it's easy to become like to complete all your tasks for a month, for 2, for 3 months, but doing it like again and again is kind of not easy, like to keep yourself in hard pushing even on plateau. Yeah, it's not easy. And then you like, it's the next level, you're like, okay, I need to now to keep this the same level of pushing even without going high too much. And you just continue pushing, and you still see no struggles, you can't like come over. And then you of course you're coming to some natural limits, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I don't believe in limits. It's all bullshit. I know I can overcome everything." And like you like, okay, I need to go on the next stage and just overcome it somehow, and like deal with that as fast as possible. I just don't want to to die in this in this swamp on the yeah. So the point where you actually, okay, there are some natural limits I'm struggling with, and I'm pretty okay with the fact I'm struggling with some stuff, and I don't need to, you know, kill myself overcoming those natural limits, whatever it is. Then you just need to find yourself comfortable with those struggles. Of course, not like in the meaning you find yourself comfortable with not overcoming some struggles and just like living with them. No. But with the fact that you need to live with those struggles for quite some time, and not just avoid them and like just blindly pushing to one direction, which is cool and it works. But like, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything. It's just flow of my mind, which is might be silly and stupid, and I might regret about in the future. I upload it if whatever, forget about it. I'm just going crazy because it's already the time is running. Yeah, I tried to make some kind of, you know, sharing stuff. I believe you need to go, and I need to go as well. We will continue the next time. For sure, we will continue. We can't just leave it. Yeah, it was pretty intimate conversation, let's say. So, of course, we will continue. But yeah, kinda need to move already. Thank you very much, my friend. If you have been here for this, I don't know if it was close to hour or less. And see you soon. Yeah, continue do your stuff.